remain standing. We're going to ask Ms. Rachel Hall to do our pledges for us tonight.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay. Okay, we have three proclamations tonight, and I'm going to come up and take care of them. Personally, our city, and keep praying for me. Yes. Keep praying for Cleveland. Yes, sir. God bless you. Yes. Okay, from the office of the mayor, City of Cleveland proclamation. Whereas on the 30th day of March in the year of our Lord, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln signed a proclamation designating Thursday the 30th day of April 1863 as a day of national humiliation, fasting, and prayer. And whereas we, the people of Cleveland, Texas, and local citizens have enjoyed the freedoms of speech and religion as a benefit of this historic proclamation declaring it is the duty of nations as well as men to own their dependence upon the overruling power of God, to confess their sins and transgressions in humble sorrow, yet assured hope that genuine repentance will lead to mercy and pardon, and to recognize the sublime truth announced in the Holy Scriptures and proved by all history, that those nations only are blessed whose God is our Lord. And whereas the city of Cleveland, Texas, and the local citizens recognize that the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln, was born February 12, 1909. And now, therefore, I, Danny Lee, by the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Cleveland, Texas, do hereby proclaim Wednesday, February 12, 2025, as a day of humiliation, fasting, and prayer to thank the God of our nation for the freedoms and blessings that we have received. In witness whereof, I have set my hand and caused the official seal of the city of Cleveland, Texas, to be affixed on this 28th day of January 2025, Mayor Danny Lee. And Chaplain, once again, man, I thank you that you make it a point every year that we do this in our city. And I thank you for every meeting when you come up and give me that warm hug and prayer and the way you pray for our city. I mean, you're a gift to Cleveland, and continue doing what you're doing. God bless you. Thank you. Cousin. We're going to ask Miss Sharika Lewis. Would you come forward, please? Good evening. Sharika, before I read this, I just want to thank you for all that you do, in the city of Cleveland. I thank you for recognizing this right here, what you're doing. You bring awareness to cervical cancer, and that has affected a lot of women in Cleveland, nationwide. And it's just God bless you for sharing this with people and bringing awareness to this. So, from the Office of the Mayor, City of Cleveland proclamation, whereas according to United States Cancer Statistics Working Group in 2021, 12,536 new cervical cancers were diagnosed, and 4,051 lives were lost from it. And whereas the National Institute of Health report that the 5-year survival rate individuals diagnosed with cervical cancer is 67.4%. Due to improved treatment, early diagnosis, vaccination, and whereas the results of a simple pap smear test and HPV co-test can be used to help cervical cancer or detect cervical cancer in its earliest and most curable stages. And whereas patient advocacy organizations like Cervicar, who inspire and empower those affected by cervical cancer by educating, motivating them to use their voices for creating awareness and the stigma of influence, decision, and change, and the end of cervical cancer. Now, therefore, I, Danny Lee, Mayor of the City of Cleveland, do hereby proclaim January 1st through January 31st, 2025, as Cervical Cancer Awareness Month. Proclaim this day of 28th day of January 2025, Mayor Danny Lee, City of Cleveland. And once again, Sharika, thank you. This is very important, that your mission, and I know you're a survivor and a proud survivor, and it's a great thing that you give back and bring awareness, to this disease. And thank you once again. And that is my little cousin. Okay, we're going to ask. Come on, Miss Pam. Yeah, we got 2 Pams. Okay, Pam, I just appreciate everything that you do for the city. Every morning that I step in the office, you always greet with a smile and with positive energy, and it's recognized, it's appreciated, and much needed. The City of Cleveland, this certificate is awarded to Pam Cogbill in recognition of her outstanding performance, hard work, and dedication to the City of Cleveland, December 2024, Employee of the Month, dated this day, 10th day of December 2024. We thank you once again, Pam, for all that you do. We appreciate the work that you do, and thank you. Ms. Pam, would you like to have a word?
Let her know that I appreciate everything that she does. She is a hard worker. She always has a good attitude. Sometimes we have a lot that we do in finance. We deal with every department, and it's overwhelming at times. But Pam is always willing to come in early, stay late, come in on the weekends to get the job done. So she is appreciated and much deserving of the award she's receiving.
Okay, thank you, Pam. Scott, would you like to have a word?
Just congratulations and thank you for everything that you do. You're definitely a team player and as always there for us. So thank you, and
Thank you. Okay. Now we'll get down to business. Item number 6, public comments. I think we have 2 that have signed up. And if there's anyone else in the audience that want to sign up for public comments, okay. Okay, any person with the city-related business may speak to the council in compliance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. The city council may not discuss or vote on any matter raised in public comments unless it is specifically on the agenda. To speak during a council meeting, you must be recognized by the presiding officer. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes in person, okay? And Miss Juanita will do our timing for us, and when she raises that hand, that means your 3 minutes is up. But I encourage people, if the 3 minutes is not enough for you, you can make an appointment. You could to see our city manager at any time, or you can make an appointment to see me, any department head. And on first Thursday of every month, we have our coffee with the mayor. That's also a time that you can come and discuss, city-related matters that affect you. We welcome that. So if your 3 minutes is not enough, just always remember that that's another resource that you have as far as communicating, with the council. Okay, tonight we have Mr. Raymond Chappelle, 127 South Fenner Avenue, Cleveland, Texas. Mr. Chappelle.
I don't have much, just a complaint, I guess it's on.
Yeah, just bring it down.
It's on? Yeah. Just a complaint there on the 300 block of what is it, Elk Street. It's a water complaint that started last Labor Day weekend. They had a water main break, which they come out and fix that. And then my son had called in because he was out the next day. And they've run a temporary fix and said they'd be back Tuesday. And nothing's done. The street's closed off. As soon as you turn off the feeder road, blocked. And the EMS or fire department go down that way. They turn before you see the roadblock. But the main thing is, last few mornings it gets up no water pressure because they're running on a 1-inch pipe. I don't know how many houses, either 3/4 to 1 inch, but I just wanted to put that out there. That Tuesday after Labor Day has never made it for the fix. As far as getting that pipe off the road and stuff, it's just a piece of the coiled 3/4 inch pipe. I don't know how many houses it runs through there, but it's just I don't know, just a long ways for a temporary fix. From Labor Day weekend till now, nothing's changed. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chappelle. And we make note of that, okay? Okay. How do you pronounce it? Okay, next we have Mr. Joe Vasquez of 210 Pebble Springs Lane.
How y'all doing?
Okay.
I just want to talk about management because I'm having a lot of issue with management here. Since 2018, we bought out here. We have not been treated right as far as trying to accomplish something in our neighborhood. I made meetings before. They're not. They look at it like we're nothing. They never call back. When are you going to set them up? My last one was last month. And it wasn't even done with the police chief. I didn't even know why he called. It was management. I called for management and set up a meeting with, like you said a while ago. That's what I try to do. I'm trying to take care of our neighborhood. It's starting to really, I bought there because it was nice at one time. It's starting to fall. I've been having issue with the church, and that's what the police chief called me about. I haven't heard anything about it yet. What are we going to do? I tried management in the church. They don't care. I tried it over their head. I got one more people that I'm going over their head to from Houston. They're going to try to see if they can help me with it. Never, we didn't have a church there. I would have never bought for church with there. I call it honky tonk church. And nobody's, nothing. I mean, I know there's a sound barrier out here. Y'all have it somewhere in 2014. You put it there on your code. But nobody's helping me. That's why I try to get management to listen, sit down with me, and I explain to them what's going on. The church not even caring. But we haven't been treated right away. We have garbage people that are dumping stuff in our neighborhood. We have houses that they're turning into businesses. Not, but if I need management to pay attention to me or us. I mean, I try to set up meetings before several times, in writing, in person. My wife has done it through emails on another issue in 2018. Nothing. Just like we were nothing. So I'm just trying to I love that neighborhood. That's why I bought there. But I want to take care of it too. It just, there's cars being parked in front of yards now. It never used to be that way. It just turned it into mud where trailers that don't need to be on the main road. I know it's supposed to be 50 feet away from the stop signs. But I need management to help me. I set up a meeting last month. I expected him to call me. I'm not going to say no names, but the police chief called me. And I didn't know what he was talking about because I wasn't with him. It was with management. But that's all I'm asking, man. It's just, I want to take care of it. All my neighbors, there's a lot of seniors over there that can't come. I can barely come over here myself, too. But I'm here because I want to take care of it before it gets way out of hand. That's all I'm asking. Just try to help. I'm trying to keep, like they say, keep Cleveland, clean. So I really appreciate it if y'all could just help us. That's all I got to say, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, sure. Just call City Hall and you can either set up a meeting with Scott. I'm sure he'll be here tomorrow. Yeah. Okay? All right. Yeah, yes, sir. You better go. Okay. Now we're going to move along to item number 7, reports from council regarding attendance of boards, commissions, social functions, conventions, workshop, ceremonial events, press conferences, candidates forum, and single events where no formal action was taken, and discussion of public business incidental to the event. And I'm going to start to my left. Ms. Rachel Hall, do you have any comments for this meeting?
No, sir, Mayor, not tonight.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Desiree David, do you have any comments for tonight?
No, sir.
No comment. Mr. McWaters.
I just wanted to compliment our city staff, our city police and fire departments for doing, just working extremely hard throughout the freeze and keeping everybody safe. And I also want to shout out our city management team. Scott and his team was very communicative through this process and keeping everybody safe and being very proactive and getting everything going there. So I just want to say thank you and good job.
Okay. Mr. Warwick.
I'm just going to feedback on McWater, do the same thing. I'm not going to repeat it all, but thank y'all for everything.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Buckley.
Same thing as the other two said. Thank y'all for everything y'all do. And also I want to announce we do have a quorum for our EDC present.
Okay.
But
That's
thank
right.
you, city staff and everybody doing everything y'all do to keep it moving.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. we'll finish and then we'll go back to that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and make a comment, but I do have another public comment that just signed up. But beforehand, I want to piggyback off what Mr. McWater said. I think that I'm real proud of our team. During this past weather event that we had, we were more than prepared. All hands were on deck, and by the grace of God, we had very little damage. But one thing that I was sure of, I knew that we were prepared and we were ready, and that makes me feel good, going forward. The teamwork that we show. I'm almost, for my tenure as mayor, I'm right at my second year now, but it's been a lot of good days, some bad days. But the thing that I'm most proud of is I've had a chance to build relationships with a lot of people, meet a lot of good people, a lot of people that want to do things, to improve our city. So many people come to the monthly coffee with the mayor. I get complaints, yet I get a lot of suggestions. I see a lot of people that are on the same page with us. People that want Cleveland to grow and want what's best for Cleveland. I like to thank our Chamber of Commerce. I can't speak for the past, but I can speak for now. The Chamber of Commerce, the Economic Development Corporation, Rotary Club, Lions Club, so many volunteers, that we have. We got people serving on committees. They dedicate a lot of time, a lot of energy, and it's all about trying to improve our city, and that's what I'm most proud of. Me and Scott talk a lot about changing the culture at City Hall, and it filters down all the way down to the community, and I can see a change, and a lot of people tell me that they can see a change. So I just want to, keep it going, keep going, doing what we're doing, and when we have complaints, we're going to address them in a fair and timely manner, and that's the way we do it here now. So, but that's all I have on the comment. Scott, did you have something?
Yes, I wanted to kind of, join the same train and thank you. As you all know, we did have a little weather incident last week and postponed this meeting a week because of it. And, although the kids were out of school and they loved being able to play in some snow, it did cause some concern that we all had. And so while most of us were at home, staying warm in our homes, we did have our first responders, our police and our fire, that still were working the streets and making sure that everybody was taken care of. And so I thank y'all for the work that y'all do and appreciate y'all taking care of us during that time. And then also want to make sure and thank our public works team because they kept the water going and kept it flowing and kept our streets clear and took care of our sidewalks that we needed. And so they were out there working as well during the time. And then our department head team, again, it was Martin Luther King holiday weekend. It was a nice 3-day weekend that ended up being four days. But starting on Friday, the department heads were meeting every day, discussing the weather, discussing concerns, and preparing and reacting as needed. And so while everybody was on a holiday, they were continually working. And so I appreciate them staying ready, mindful, and willing to stay together, work, and take that time to make sure that our city stays safe. And then finally, I want to, my final thank you is a special thanks to Calvary Baptist Church. They have been a very strong partner of ours for many, many years. And once again, when the cold weather came in, Monday afternoon, they opened up their doors of their church and opened up a warming center for our residents to be able to go and stay warm during the cold spell. And so they stayed open for several days and even stayed open through the night, the first night and the second night to keep our citizens warm. And we appreciate the partnership that we have and them working with us to assist in that need for that facility. I also want to recognize a couple of birthdays that we have today and yesterday. So Blake, our engineer's birthday's today, and he gets to spend his birthday with us here at the council meeting. And so way to go for our engineer, happy birthday. And of course, Chief Broussard, he had a birthday yesterday himself, so happy birthday, Chief. And then I did want to say a few words about our airport director. I see that he's not here with us tonight, but his birthday is actually tomorrow. But tonight would have been his last night and last council meeting with us as he is leaving us to go work for the school district. And so I just want to make sure and commend him and compliment the work that he's done with us. He's been here as the airport director. He's been here with the city for a lot longer, but he's been the airport director for just over a year and has really, as we brought the airport in-house, has done a lot at the airport to make it a success and really has turned that airport around and made it a great asset for our community. And so I just want to thank him for all the work that he has done, and we appreciate the work that he's done for us. So that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, I'm going to go back, take a step back we had a late comment request, and but even though it was late, but I still want everybody to have their 3 minutes. So Mr. Roger Bermudez. Okay.
Hi there. My name is Roger Bermudez. I'm the organizer for El Gallo Show Expo, one of the biggest game fowl expos in the United States. That will be here in Cleveland, Texas on March 1st. And I wanted to thank the city of Cleveland for renting me their facility and giving us opportunity to show this part of the country what we're about. I'd like to take my 3 minutes to show you a clip on what to expect on March 1st. Hope you enjoy.
Okay, Mr. Roger, you still got about 30 seconds. Is that all you? Okay, all right. I just wanted to give you 3 minutes. Thank you, sir. Okay. Okay, we're going to move along to item number 8, public hearing on the submission of the application for the Texas Department of Agriculture for one or more Texas Community Development Block Grant Program. Grants for the program year 2025 and 2026.
Good evening, council, members, and all in the audience. So number 8 is about a public hearing for the Texas Department of Agriculture for one or more Texas Community Development Block Grant Programs. What this is there are funds out there that are available to eligible cities to fund the infrastructure or whatever the city thinks that they need in order to enhance what we already have or even do repairs or whatever it might be. So this grant was proposed to us and it was out there, so we decided to use it. It's a total of probably $750,000 that was proposed to us to either, we could repair our number 2 water plant, the well itself, and the ground storage tank, or we could repair the number 3 water plant, the 2 groundwater storage tank also. So these are funds that are available to improve our infrastructure for the longevity, for the life of it, because like I said, the city needs more funding that are available for us to improve so we could build our community and make it better. There is a, like, say, it's a 10% on different grants versus paying $750,000 for the whole thing. We'd probably be paying about $75,000 just for that. But this will be posted in the news, in the Vindicator, the 30th of this month, which is Thursday, and it will be published to the public so everybody would know about it, to bid on this or to apply for it or whatever it entails. So just letting you know what we are doing for the community and the city itself to grow and improve our infrastructure.
The article in the paper, or the notice that's in the paper on
Yes.
Thursday is for engineering services.
Yeah,
And so we have contracted with Grant Works, who is here tonight. Nick Fannin is here, and they're our grant administrator for this program. But we do still need to bring on an engineer, and so that notice is going to be in the paper this Thursday.
This Thursday.
And then you'll see later in the agenda, 2 of you lucky council members will be selected to be on that selection review committee.
Thank you. Any
Okay.
questions?
No.
Yeah, so it'd be for either for number 2 water plant, the well, which is well 8, and the ground storage tank, if possible, on plant 2. If not, option is plant 3 by the east plant, ground storage tank. So we have 2 out there, one needs to be repaired. So either one or the other. Yeah, that's what this fund for either one of those. Thank you.
Those are the 2 projects that we are looking to utilize these funds for. But that's what the public hearing is for tonight, is to hear public input on what they feel we should be using those funds for. Nick, do you have something to add for that?
Well, I didn't know if you wanted me to go through the full dog and pony show, but there is a little bit of background, and I can go through, I think, it may be in your packet, but I was given, and often it's either the mayor, city manager, or the grant administrator who would outline it. So just to give you background, I'd like to say it's brief, but it's not, or at least not brief enough for me. But, and I know you'll open the public hearing and allow comment, and that is important. And I'll go through two quick things, and then I'll read what's been scripted to me. But tonight's public hearing is, one, to make sure everybody understands what is possible with the TDA Community Development Block Grant, and then two, to allow the public some input as to the priorities, as to what projects you would like to do. And already staff has identified two, and we'll see if the citizenry have any additional comments or not on that. But a little bit of background, it is the Texas Development Block Grant is administered through the Texas Department of Agriculture. And there's going to be several different opportunities. That's why they worded it the way they have up above for possible programs. But we already know there is the 25-26 program that has already been unveiled. But depending on what happens through the course of the year, could be other additional that TDA will put out for. But right now, there's just the one. And this is to assist small and rural communities, which, of course, Cleveland fits into extremely well. And you have received these in the past. I believe you were working on one 18 or so. So, and the way it cycles, it's not uncommon that you'll skip a cycle or two and they come back, but they're typically every 2 years it'll come up. And for the city of Cleveland, you have a higher chance of being eligible about every 3 cycles. So that'd be in the 6th year. And the first topic that they cover, and these are the things that are often requested of the public, one would be affordable housing in the area, which is being handled through the Cleveland Housing Authority. And then there's also housing tax credit, multifamily properties in the area. Funds could go in that direction, but those aren't administered here through the city. Those are, you actually have the, as I said, the housing authority that will do that. Then there's also the social services. These are service providers, Cleveland Human Services Department, the Tri-County Behavioral Health Care, the Operation Refuge Pantry. These are other social services. Funding, it is possible funding could go in those directions. Again, those aren't administered by the city, and often the city would like to be a little more use it in other areas. So that brings us really kind of to the third topic, which cities do have control over, and that is infrastructure. And you heard of two of the possible projects here, and that would be improvements for water, wastewater, which we have heard. It'll include streets, drainage, and even park trails. These have been addressed in the past in other forms. And those funds can also come through the General Land Office, which Cleveland has taken advantage of in the past. And then the fourth topic is economic development. And I've already heard today that we have a quorum of the Economic Development Corporation here. But typically your economic development is based on how good your infrastructure and a number of those things. And having served in a city capacity a number of years myself, the Economic Development Corporation went hand in hand with the city to help make sure a number of things were satisfied within the city that made it easier for businesses to locate here. Water, streets, and those things that are essential. So those are good efforts there on the economic development front that these funds can be used for. But the specific funding that we're talking about now is the 2025-2026 TDA program, and that is for $750,000. It is going to be scored. You've got a number of ways to, a number of categories that you'd have to score. We've kind of taken a little bit of a look at that. We think that you'll fare well. One has to do with the lapse timing. It's going to have to do with your match, which would be 10%. I believe it's going to be between 5 and 10, depending on what your actual population is, and we'll determine that at the time we actually make the application. And then, of course, the grant has to benefit low and moderate income, which I believe that's why the projects that have been identified by Roger tonight have been identified as those are the primary beneficiaries of those areas. And also, the project cannot displace, remove people from their homes and not adequately provide them additional housing if it does do that. So those are a number of the things. Doesn't quite cover everything in detail, but as I said, I wanted to keep it brief and kind of give you some background on that. And now, Mayor, I believe you'll want to open up for the public hearing and see if the public wants to add, or after my discussion, have any comments as to what they think the priorities should be for.
Okay, at this time, is there anyone present that want to add some input or?
What areas do these two wells catch of the city? Okay. Okay. What does that one kind of run over there? Okay, that one runs everything in the city, and then that one runs everything on that side of town. Yeah. Yeah, they all connected. Okay, that's what I wanted to know, if they both.
Okay, would there be any other questions or comments before I close the public hearing? Okay, if not, I want to thank Scott, Roger, Public Works, everybody that had a hand in being proactive in applying for these grants and loans. I mean, this is something that's needed like 10 years ago. And, we getting it done. You'll notice tonight we have a lot of different items on the agenda that's addressing different issues. And basically what that means is, the time that we spend in, we're getting things done. It's been a long time coming. We just need to take full advantage, of these funds and, do the best that we can with it. Okay, if there are no other comments, I'd like to conclude the public hearing. Okay, now I'm going to move down to item number, the consent agenda. All consent agenda items are considered routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member requests an item to be removed and considered separately. Okay, that'll be item 9 through 15.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to remove item number 15 to discuss separately.
Okay. Okay, are there any other requests to remove any items? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda except for item number 15?
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda 9 through 14 and pull out item 15.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Buckley. I have a second by Mr. McWaters. All those in favor? Okay, motion carries 5-0. Okay, now we'll go on to item number 15. That will be an ordinance ordering a general election to be held May 3rd, 2025 for the purpose of electing mayor, city council position 1, council position 2, and the new council position 6. Authorize conducting the election jointly with other political subdivisions within Liberty County, Montgomery County, providing locations and times for early and regular voting and related matters.
All right, Mr. Mayor. My question is in regards to the newly created potential position of number 6. As our city charter currently stands, it's explained that we are a council of 5 plus mayor, but I do understand that there's propositions to be put on the May ballot to change our charter, which, if approved by voters, would add a position number 6. And so it would seem that we should be able to give voters the opportunity to vote first if they want to add a position 6 before putting a position 6 on the actual ballot, because the proposition may or may not pass. It needs to go before the voters first. And so that's, I guess, my question is about adding a number 6 when we currently, in the current charter we operate under today, when we're passing something, does not have a position 6 in it.
Well, wouldn't, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, so it can be done either way. The election code explicitly allows for a position that is created under a charter amendment for the election of that position to run concurrently with the charter amendment creating the position. Cities do it either way. Some will run that election concurrently with the charter amendment election. Others may have it effective at a later date.
And just to be clear, it's basically contingent.
Correct.
Yeah, so I mean, so yeah, that's why they can do it either way, because if the vote to amend the charter fails, there is no position 6.
Right. I just think that if we do it concurrently, because there's other items that, I am aware that could be put on a ballot concurrently as well, and some of the feedback was that it can be confusing to voters to see both at once. And so it seems that would make, in my opinion, make sense to allow our community to have their voice and choose yes or no, in favor or not in favor of the propositions, and then if passes, moves forward. So again, I'm just asking about whether or not doing it at the same time is in best interest of informing our community, letting them know, getting them out there that when they see, do you want a position 6, but also see vote for position 6, if there will be confusion about whether or not, like what it means when it's on the same ballot, right? So, again, that was my question, again, with it being currently only 5 and our community needing to decide if they needed to add a number 6.
So would be position 6, if it did pass, would that position 6 be on this ballot also, like someone running for it?
Correct.
That's what I was, that's what I thought was, it was opposite. We're voting on 6, having a 6th member, and then the next election, council election would be the 6th, position 6 was coming on.
As the ordinances are currently written, if the position 6 would be on the same ballot as the charter amendment
I
election.
get what you're saying. I
And then-
agree how you're saying it. I think it should be the other way. If they agree to it, then we put on the position 6.
And we let them decide first, and we inform them and educate them first, and we don't cause unneeded confusion. And we give, especially since within those propositions, we're also talking about adding to like a 3-year term instead of a 2-year term. And then we're talking about alcohol, and there's lots of propositions and things going on the ballot. And so the less confusion and the more education, the better. Again, I agree with Julius that it should be pulled and passed as with position 5. And then if it passes, in your next election, you add a position 6, and everyone is aware, and everyone has plenty of time to understand the changes and what all they mean, and to get out and to vote. So,
And just to sort of make everyone aware of how all the strings pull at each other. So if that position is held off until the next election, but you also add the mayor as a voting member of council on all matters, then you're essentially operating with an even number until that election occurs. And so that would, I mean, just in terms of how it all implements. Now, you could draft it to where these things would take effect at certain times.
it seems like voter confusion on the ballot, and a lot of big ticket items on the ballot as well, and wanting to get the community out. I understand, Mr. Tommy, sorry, you don't remember your last name,
No, it's all right.
that you're saying
I don't
that, you know, there could be ties, and if the mayor is also a voting member, but that's also up to the community on the propositions as well. And I'm sure there's a statute somewhere, if there's a dead even tie, what happens if it's tabled, or how you break a tie, paper, rock, scissors, whatever it might be. So, again, I'm in favor of removing position 6 from this ordinance and passing it with position 5, and asking our community to make the decisions first under the propositions presented to them for the changes, and then move forward in 2026 with all of the positions and all of the things. So those are my comments and/or questions. So, thanks.
I mean, the way it stands now, you'd have to make a motion to approve for the mayor, council position 1 and council position 2. Basically, that's all at this point. And remove the position 6 from that.
I would,
Well,
I
could
would,
the-
I would just make it more, if that was gonna be your motion, I would just say, you know, a motion to approve the ordinance ordering a general election, removing position 6 from the ordinance. Because that would be the only thing I think that needs changing on that. The other issues would need to be addressed in the special election ordinance for the charter. And just in all clarity, on the ballot, one of the requirements when you have these concurrent issues being held at the same election, the charter amendment election, that will be on the ballot. It should be. There are certainly mistakes at the county level sometimes. That should be on the ballot first, and it's a requirement in state law that essentially an office that's being affected by a charter amendment language, that charter amendment language needs to be on the ballot before the office that is affected by that language. So essentially what you would see is, rather than the election of officers and then the charter amendments, it would be flipped the other way around.
Well, I'll,
I mean, that's just full disclosure as to
Right.
sort of how this all works, because it's admittedly not a simple thing.
Now, I know there was discussion with the Charter Review Committee as well as the council, when we first considered this, you know, move forward on what we were going to accept, the recommendations and what we wanted to move forward on putting the ballot on at this time. And at that point, we wanted it unified so that you wouldn't have that tie opportunity. But that doesn't mean it can't be changed or removed if that's the will of the council. We also will need a change later on
Number
in
25,
25 and add those dates and timelines for those changes if it's not going to be done concurrent like it was originally proposed.
Well, if we're making that change, would it be wise to adjust the language just for the mayor being a voting member because of the potential of a tie of starting that next election cycle as well?
Yeah.
That way you just take that part out of it.
But the problem's gonna be if you go to 6 and
No, that would,
Yeah.
if it passes, the next election cycle, you'd have the 6th and the mayor.
okay,
vote.
so that we put
Yeah.
the next election
Yeah.
cycle, the mayor would.
The next election
Okay.
cycle would be no change to the last election cycle.
Okay.
And if it passes, if the citizens vote this through, then you would have a position 6 and you'd have a mayor vote.
Okay.
Okay. Well, you know, I know it's a lot of suggestions that the charter committee, a lot of different suggestions. And I think it's like 14, something like that.
14
Okay,
propositions.
Well, and let me, not to make it more but this may simplify it a little bit. If there's, and I'm just thinking through this, if there's 3 and 3 on an issue, so it's tied, that would mean that the mayor is voting.
Yeah.
In other words, the mayor could not vote, and if the mayor was in favor of something, and then maintain, you know, it would be 4-2. Like, in other words, the 3-3 is only if the mayor is voting to create the 3-3. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So and now the confusion would actually come in on the tiebreaker, because then, under the charter, mayor cast the tiebreaker vote. So does that mean?
Yeah.
2 votes?
Yeah.
And I haven't looked into that issue admittedly. But I think that, I'm less concerned about the voting issue.
Yeah.
And I'm more focused on if the effective date of one is at a later date. So 2 new positions coming in. The effective date of one is at a later date, but the other one is added. Essentially, that means council is 6 members, which raises the quorum requirement for meetings from 3 to 4. Because the difference between 6 and 7 is that doesn't affect your quorum, you're still at 4. So that's another thing to take into account.
But as it stands, the mayor votes to break ties, and so if we bump it to where it's on a separate ballot next year, and if it all passes where they elect for the mayor to have a vote in every decision and not just for breaking ties, and if they elect for position 6, that can all be implemented beginning next year. So that's just, I believe what Mr. McWater said about a date change in the language, correct? About the one with the proposition for the mayor being able to vote?
Right, well, and that's, either way.
Well,
But if we're looking at this specific number 15 about and this one, is it something, I assume that this can't be, like tabled until next month because you have a deadline. You have to make a decision tonight. So, again, if it means changing the language of one because they're all tied together, I still believe that we should allow our community to make decisions first and, less confusion and less on the ballot. If you said there's about 14 propositions, that's a lot for our community, plus our school boards and all of the other things going on. So if it requires a language change and another proposition because of what we do or do not vote for right now, then I'm sure that that can be adjusted as needed.
yeah, well, yeah, but what we have to understand on this, I mean, we have to wait to the next election. That's fine. I don't have a problem with it. But the 14 things that the charter committee identified, those are things that we need to get fixed as soon as possible. Yeah, but what I'm saying is that's stuff that we need to get, not to say that, I was pretty sure that we were gonna have to condense a lot of that, because 14 items, that is a lot, to pass, but it's something that we need. So what we need to do, if we have to scale back on some of it, okay. I mean, we've done it this way for so long, and we have to do it for another year, so be it. But in the near future, in order for the city to move forward, adding another council member, adding another year's term, I think in the long run, that'll give us a better opportunity to get more things done. The position that we're in right now, we got a lot of things we right in the middle of getting done, and you got an election every year. Every year, you got a possibility of a turnover of 3 people. And in the past, we have so much of a turnover rate that a lot of times, we get caught up and we miss out on a lot. So, but I don't have a problem with, let's just figure out the things that we need to, whatever's more important at this point, and put it on the ballot, get it passed. The next cycle, put the rest of it on there. But these are things that, if we want Cleveland to grow like we want it to grow, people want a Saltgrass steakhouse. People want a Buffalo Wild Wings and Chick-fil-A, but we got to make changes in order to attract places like that, So that's what a lot of this is all about. But
And a lot of this, and let me just mention this, I
Yeah,
think
go ahead.
going back and looking at it, It seems like a lot. There's a lot of just kind of cleanup in
Yeah.
here. I understand the 14 is a lot, but you know why 14 is a lot? Because if you go back and look at the recommendations, and I believe I'm right, we can go back and check this, but we didn't take to ballot some of the changes that were made 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So we keep, charter review meets every 5 years. So we wait another 5, this list at some point has to get done.
Yeah, correct.
Well, I mean, I agree that voters should be able to vote for or against the propositions of all of the proposed changes. It's just about not doing it at the same time as position 6, letting them make their decision and us knowing what our community wants from their feedback, and then moving forward next year by adding a 6 if position 6 if they choose to. But it's not about eliminating the proposed propositions.
Yeah.
It's just about letting our community
So-
decide first.
Well, can we move this to 25 and vote for it afterwards, after we have an executive session over some of the stuff? Is that possible to do?
Yeah.
I make a motion, we move 25 to after executive session. Or, 15 after executive session.
Okay.
Or I guess move 15 to executive session. Move 15 to executive session.
Okay, hang on. Okay, here we go.
I'm sorry, clarification, are you asking that we talk about this in executive session or vote? Is this something that can be taken to executive session?
Yes.
We'll talk about it in executive session and then vote after executive session. Yeah, I think 25, Scott had already started.
Yeah,
talking about it after
15
executive.
and 25, and also item number 28. You know, it all that can fall under executive session.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna move on to our regular agenda. And as I said, on each one of these,
Mayor can move that on his own motion. Doesn't need a vote.
okay, we're gonna move on to item number 16. And this is the TERS 1 payment of tax increment funds to McKinley Development Company Incorporated in accordance with the agreement by, among the City of Cleveland, Texas Reinvestment Zone 1, Cleveland, Texas, and McKinley Development Company Incorporated. Okay, Emilio.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Emilio Lavario, Director of Community Development. Like you said, this item is to consider a payment of tax increment funds from TERS 1 to pay McKinley reimbursements in accordance with the development agreements between the city, Zone 1, and McKinley Development. At this time, the current eligible project costs are in the amount of $603,714.33. That is in accordance with our kind of TERS 1 revenue fund, currently at just around $612,000. So we do have adequate funding there available for payment for eligible project costs. And so the Development Review Committee has reviewed these project costs and determined that everything submitted meets the minimum criteria for reimbursement. The Reinvestment Zone Number 1 Board of Directors has met this month to also consider this request, and they recommended approval unanimously. So with that, staff recommends approval and happy to answer any questions if you have anything.
Okay, if there's not any questions for Emilio, do I have a motion?
For Grand
Grand
Oaks.
Make a motion, we approve item number 16.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Buckley. I have a second by Mr. McWaters. All those in favor? Okay, motion carries 5-0. Item number 17, resolution of support of the Cleveland Plaza Apartments.
Thank you, Mayor Council. Again, Emilio Lovario, Director of Community Development. This is a request for a resolution of support for what they're calling the Garden Walk of Cleveland, also known as Cleveland Plaza Apartments for affordable housing rehabilitation. So the developer, in this case, Belmont Development Company, is seeking to submit an application to the Department of Housing and Community Affairs for low-income housing tax credits to rehabilitate 48 units of housing, affordable housing there at the Cleveland Plaza Apartments at 914 East Hanson Street. So the developer couldn't be here. They had made travel arrangements and plans to be here at our previously scheduled council meeting, but then they had some conflicting travel plans this week when we rescheduled. So otherwise, they would kind of give you an overview and a presentation of what they plan to do. But in essence, with these projects, and they're very familiar with making these, doing these all over Texas, but they'll typically make some improvements concerning electrical, mechanical, plumbing, kind of cosmetic things, sheetrock, paint, and other improvements in the units, and also exterior improvements to the building, and also a fair amount of concrete work on this property to correct some ADA accessibility issues and the like. But they are seeking a resolution of support, and with that resolution, they are requesting a credit towards their development permits fees, and the amount of $250 is kind of the threshold that the Department of Housing and Community Affairs looks for in order to kind of move this over the hurdle. I think similarly, there's a similar resolution of support given for the Cleveland Square Apartments and those rehabilitations, so that's what they're looking to do here on this property as well. So happy to answer any questions, but we are recommending approval.
It kind of mirrors what we did with Cleveland Square.
Yeah, so
These are the ones next to. or
behind the
right
Veritex, so yeah, just south of here.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, behind the bank.
Right behind the bank.
Oh, that's the one behind the,
Behind, yeah,
Oh,
the
okay.
Veritex
Oh, I
Bank
got
here.
okay.
Make a motion, we approve the resolution of support for the Cleveland Plaza Apartments.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. McWaters, second by Mr. Warwick. Okay, all those in favor? Okay, motion carries 5-0. Okay. Item number 18, Greater Cleveland Chamber of Commerce, Civic Center Use Agreement, Agreement A, B, Exhibit A, C, Exhibit B. Ms. Ms. Carter, I'm sorry.
I go by both. So this here, that's presented in front of you is the Greater Cleveland Chamber of Commerce contract or use agreement contract. Their current contract with the city allows priority use of the Civic Center. And so Scott, myself, as well as Victoria with the Chamber has looked over the current contract. We don't foresee anything that needs to be changed within the contract. We would like to continue the contract as is, just to keep the cooperation between city and chamber. The current contract does start that the new contract would actually start February the 1st, 2025, and go through January 31st of 2026. The agreement would allow for, upon mutual agreement, allow for an extended 1 year with written consent. And then also too, with this agreement, it is in lieu of a membership. So the city has a platinum membership with the chamber in lieu of the use of our facility. And so we're just asking council to allow for us to continue the current contract or move forward with the new contract, should I say, to keep the benefit of both parties. And you should have the contracts that was, the new contract that was written up within your packet. And it does list out Exhibit A, which would be the membership, and then Exhibit B, which would be the nonprofit rates with which what they would have to pay if we weren't to renew their contract.
Make a motion, we approve item 18A, B, and C.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Buckley to approve item A, B, and C, and I have a second by Mr. Mac Waters. All those in favor? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Rachel, did you? Four? Okay, that'll be 5-0. But Ashley, before
Yes.
you leave, I just want to, which I've already told Victoria, I just really appreciate the job that the Civic Center and the Chamber, the way y'all work together, y'all making things happen. So
Yes,
keep
sir.
doing what you're doing.
Thank you. It's been very easy working with Victoria.
Yeah, y'all,
So-
you guys are doing a tremendous job.
Thank you.
So just keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Thank you.
Okay, item number 19, resolution for Rural Water Assistance Fund. A, authorized representative resolution. B, application affidavit. C, application resolution.
Well, this one is fairly simple. If you remember, I believe it was last month that we did a very similar resolution for the clean water fund that we're getting with Texas Water Development Board. This is the other side. This is the drinking water side, the Rural Water Assistance Fund. So this is the exact same resolution and affidavit that we're having to do for that portion of the grant. So we received $16 million on the drinking side. We've got $16 million on the clean side. And so this is the drinking water side. And so it's just approving those resolutions as part of that application process.
Well, I make a motion that we approve item 19, resolution for Rural Water Assistance Fund A, B, and C.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Buckley, a second by Mr. Mac Waters. Okay, all those in favor? Okay, motion carries 5-0. Item number 20, award the RFQ for engineering services and RFP for grant administrators services for disaster recovery resilience program.
Mayor, council, all in the audience. This fund was allocated from existing, I should say, leftover funds from hurricane that was back in the past, that was happened back to 2015. So there was opportunity for different cities and entities to apply and get funding to improve our infrastructure or whatever we could do for it as far as improve the city well-being and so forth. So we went for it as far as we applied for it in the first stage we applied for it. We wanted generators for our lift stations and our water plants. That's what some of this fund is for. So we applied. Out of the funds, we got approved for
Total of 4.5.
2.4 was for wastewater and sewer improvements. 1.1 million was for water infrastructure, and 1 million was for street and drainage improvements.
That's great.
So, like I said, we applied for it. I mean, we need as much help as we can. So if the opportunity is there, we're gonna go for it to make it a better place. And try to subdue our drainage issues pretty much and so forth. Trying to be ready for different events that happen so we won't have to be fighting this, that, the other for it and so forth. So we send off the approval letter saying that we are going to go for it. We want this. And our city manager signed off on these 3 different opportunities to get, and we did that. So we did that on the 24th of this month. So we had a deadline. So we did that. So now we did a RFQ and an RFP. That's for administrative grants and for engineering services for this project. And once we did that, we put it out and everything, and we got 2 packets back. One was for the engineering services, and one was for administrative services. So out of the 2, one was GrantWorks, and the other one was Blodge Engineering. And those 2 was the only 2 that applied to this request that we posted on newspaper articles and so forth. So I just wanted to, we did our scoring sheet and everything to qualify. And since we only had 1-on-1, so it was kind of an easy fix on that. So we want to award Blodge Engineering and GrantWorks the award for be able to administer this project and help us to move forward into making this happen for the city. Anything else for me?
So we did submit for these last week. We did receive letters back from the GLO stating that we have been approved for those projects, those 3. So it's 2.4, as Roger said, for generators for our sewer, water, sanitary sewer stations. So most likely the rest of our lift stations.
Yeah, like
if you
13.
remember, we've got a GLO Mid-Mod that's going to do 5 generators for lift stations. This would be generators for the remaining portion of the lift stations. And then we got 1.1 million for water systems. So this would go for generators for our water plant. And then we also received $1 million for drainage. And so
That's awesome.
now we need to get started because that project, the timeline is very short window. We've got the approval, now we've got to submit our final application or submit the project application. So we will be working closely with GrantWorks again and Ball Engineering to do the final design and get those submitted for final approval.
Make a motion to approve item number 20.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Buckley. I have a second by Mr. McWaters. All those in favor? Okay, motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Roger. I want to make a note. That's another $4.5 million. So let's keep doing it. I mean, it's another win for us. Okay, item number 21, appoint 2 council members for the Selection Committee for Engineering Services for the 2025-2026 Texas Community Development Block Grant Program of the Texas Department of Agriculture. Any volunteers?
So Mayor and Council, if you remember when we first got word that this opportunity was going to come out for the 25-26 Texas CDBG funds through the Department of Agriculture, we immediately jumped on bringing on a grant administrator to assist us with those programs. And of course, we brought on GrantWorks at that time, went through the procurement process, and have been working with GrantWorks with that. Tonight's public hearing that we had earlier, this is what this is for. And as we mentioned during that public hearing, this Thursday, that RFQ goes out in the paper, as well as all of our packets that we're going to send out to engineers to try to get RFQs back from engineering services to assist us with those projects. That's that $750,000 fund that we've been talking about. So with that, as you all know, when we have a selection like that, we appoint 2 council members to assist staff with evaluating and selecting those RFPs and RFQs. And so we need 2 lucky council members to help us go through these RFQs.
When are they received? When are the meetings for going through them?
It goes out, when are the packets going to be received? 10th of February?
Yeah, they have to be in by the 10th.
And the plan is to have these back to council for approval at the February meeting.
So the week of the 10th is when the meetings, the committee would be meeting, because the deadline, either the 10th or the 11th after the deadline of getting everything in?
It'll be between then and the week before council. So that week, most likely be the following week.
I don't mind doing it if y'all want me to do it again.
Sure.
I'll do it.
Okay, we got Mr. McWaters and Ms. Hall. We appreciate that, and man, all these millions of dollars getting thrown around, I might want to jump on
Sign
one.
up, Mr. Mayor.
Hey, man,
Hey,
I'm
it didn't
telling
say
you.
you couldn't be on.
No, it says council members. But what I'm saying is, man, I mean, I know there's a lot of stuff to approve, but it's all gravy, man. And I'm loving this gravy. Okay, do we
Do we have to make a motion on that? or
yeah,
is that-
okay. You have a motion?
Have a motion, we, appoint Councilman Hall and Councilman McWaters for the, selection committee for the engineering services.
Okay. Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Buckley. I have a second by Mr. Warwick. All those in favor? Okay, motion carries 5-0. Okay, item number 22, authorize RFP for Hangar L at airport and appointment of council members for the selection committee.
I'd like to be on this one.
Okay.
It's a lot less reading probably.
Mayor and council, so you have the RFP in the packet, and so what this is, as you are aware, we are purchasing, our EDC is purchasing a hangar from the Sugar Land Airport. And so we have authorized that contract to have that brought over and reassembled. And so with that, our first option that we were like to see is to be able to submit proposals, a request for proposals, to see what other businesses, schools, what use might be out there that we can contract with, similar to what we did with the Quonset Hut project. And so the packet's in there. We will need to change some of the dates on there before we put it in the paper. We'll put it in the paper next week to do that. But you have the information in there. It's just a proposal to be able to receive those proposals for that. If that's the route that y'all want to go, which it's kind of the process that we've gone in the past, then we will need 2 people to volunteer to serve on that selection committee and Councilman Buckley has already volunteered as
I'd like
part
to
of
be
the.
on that.
Okay. Okay, well, just give me
I just like reading.
a motion and a
See, I got
second.
these
We can keep rolling.
Make a motion, myself and Councilman Mick Waters will be on the RFP for the airport
And to authorize us to go out.
and authorize us to go out for a RFP.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Buckley. Got a second by Mr. Warwick. All those in favor? Okay, motion carries 5-0. Okay. Item number 23, Housing Authority appointment. And did we have one?
We do.
Was it Caroline?
Let's see, we
So
have-
Mayor and Council, if you remember in December, we typically do all of the appointments of our boards and commissions. When we did the appointments back in December, we had one position that we did not have any applications for, and that was for the Housing Board, and so, Housing Authority Board, and so we have gotten with the chairman of that board, and he has provided us an application for that position, and it is Ms. Carolyn McWaters' application. The application should be in your packet, and so they're requesting, or the chairman is requesting that you appoint Ms. Carolyn McWaters to that board.
Mayor and Council, I make a motion that we appoint Ms. Carolyn McWaters to the board.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Ward. I have a second by Ms. David. All those in favor? Okay, motion carries 5-0. Okay. Okay, we're gonna move along to item number 24, street maintenance update. Mr. Roger the Dodger Brooks.
Mayor, council, so we purchased some equipment that was for road repair, different things of that nature. So we used it fully we used it the other day to improve a road that I guess we had a lot of complaints on, and school buses and things like that. But the reason why the road was of that nature because a lot of traffic. Also, we did some repairs to the infrastructure first before we actually paved the, resurfaced the road. My thinking is we are spending taxpayers' money on the stuff we do in the city. And I try not to, as far as resurface the whole road if we still have more repairs to do on the road. That area that was resurfaced did have infrastructure repair already. I mean, we did replace it with good infrastructure, so that was a need to repair that area that we did. So it's not to the max. Well, we did do what we can at the time to make it look good and so forth, as far as the base material and drivable, and it's very durable. Like the other day, after we did what we did, we had 40 school buses drove over it, and it stand up to that. So that lets me know that our guys that we have in the city can do a good job with the equipment that we provide to them and to make it happen.
Okay, Roger, was that the street over
Margie
Margie Street?
Street. Yes, sir.
The one at Freshman Campus?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. So we repaired a portion of that from about 450 feet of it, because
Yeah.
the rest I have to do infrastructure underneath. And like I said earlier, I don't want to repair the road if the infrastructure is not suitable to
Yeah.
last for a longevity time. So I have some videos and some pictures of what the guys did in that process to make this happen. Let's just watch this and we'll see exactly what transpired in that process. this is the beginning stage of it as far as the zipper actually milling the asphalt and the concrete, the asphalt up, and while we mix it up, we put Portland in certain amount of quantities, like 10 bags as we go. I mean, we mix it well, so because we know that road is a heavy traffic road, so we kind of put more Portland into it, so it could withstand all the weight that was being, the traffic load going through there. So, and we're trying to make it a little wider than what it was before. I think before it was like 18 feet wide. We're trying to make it about 20 to 22 foot wide. Trying to make it more appeasing to everybody and make it more room so both traffic could be on both sides, back and forth, to be no problem for them. I know there's a video in there in actually how it, yes, please. Oh, it's on separate. Okay. Okay, so that's it? Okay. Okay, I'll send you on the video later, but it was showing the actual process of the grinding of the zipper machine while in the process of mixing up the Portland that we poured beforehand, so we incorporate it in a good mix, and then we get the roller right behind that and to pack it in accordingly. But we did make multiple passes on that road to get a good mixture of that stabilized and the Portland mixed with the material that was being mixed together. So if you get a chance, drive by there, let me know what you think. Bad or good, just let me know. That way we improve on what we are doing. This was the first time my guys did this, so it turned out pretty good. So we, in the future, since that area is done, I got quotes to put a asphalt overlay over the road and so forth. So we had a guy that actually does this work a contractor that does the work for a living, and he said, that is good, it's solid. I mean, it's solid. We did better than what they normally do on a regular basis. So the equipment we have is capable of handling enormous type of, this manpower would be good, and more equipment as far as the overlay and tall machines, stuff like that, but in time. But it looks good, and the price the guy said, it was like, he said he would give us a deal for like $19,000 to just cover that road with asphalt.
Wow.
About 450 feet on Margie from North Mason to North Palaia. So I think it's doable, and I think it'll improve our base structure as far as that. But now I'm thinking about either making it look even better and put some asphalt on it. I'll get with my city manager on that. But
there you go.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Roger.
Any questions?
You good?
Thank you.
Thanks, Roger.
Okay, item number 25, we're gonna take that up. That can fall under executive session, item 25. Okay, we're gonna move along to item number 26, authorize project funding. That'll be EDC 200 Hangar L construction and associated expenses.
Mayor and Council, this is the project that we're creating for the EDC for the Hangar L, which again is the hangar that we are purchasing from the Sugar Land Airport. If you remember back in January, we had a special meeting to contract with the company that's going to be dismantling the hangar, moving it to us, and then reassembling that hangar for us. And so that was done. We approved that, but we needed to do additional cost for that project. That project was within budget, but we knew it was going to go over what was funded. And so this one here is to kind of develop that and create that project where we can do additional funding. And then the plans are to do the budget amendment at the mid-year in April to offset that. The estimate for that project is roughly $500,000 for the total cost, because with the hangar, you still got to have the engineering of the foundation, you got the foundation, you got the asphalt that goes around the hangar, that's going to have to be put in place. We've got plumbing and electrical and so forth. Interior walls is going to have to be done to make that ready. Of course, a lot of that's going to be contingent on what we do with the hangar, which is why we're doing an RFP to find out, what the final use for that hangar is going to be, so.
Make a motion, we authorize project funding for item number 26 for Hangar L construction.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. McWaters, a second by Mr. Buckley. No, Mr. Warwick, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Getting weary, man. Okay, all those in favor? 3. Okay, item passes 4-1. Okay. Item number 27.
Mayor and Council, on this one, as you all are aware, we are going through some reorganization within our Community Services Department as well as our Finance Department recently. And so, as you have in your packet under 27, you've got a list of all the history as well as the funding that we're having there. And so it is the council responsibility to establish compensation for these different positions. Again, this is one of those things that we do not know what the final dollar amount's going to be because we do not have people in each of these positions. And so the plans are to have you approve the positions as recommended with the pay grades, and then in April, after all these are hired and confirmed, then we would come back with a budget amendment to square up those funds. And so you have those available. Again, there is in the community development side, our community services side, you have 3 coordinator positions, the marketing and communications coordinator, EDC coordinator, and the development services coordinator. Those are all proposed at grade 7. The EDC has already met, and they have made their recommendation to fund half of the marketing and communications coordinator position, as well as funding the EDC coordinator position in that. And then on the development services side, the development services coordinator position is combining 2 positions to make one, and so the funds are there for that one. We are asking with the change with our new with Danielle moving from development services over to finance, she became the accounting manager. With that, we're going back to old school, because when Pam Harrison was here the first time, she was the accounting manager, and in that position oversaw or assisted with finance and accounting, but also oversaw utility billing. We're going back to that model to kind of help with that organization. But with that, we're asking to split that position between utility billing and the city. So that would relieve some funds on the city side by having utility billing take on that portion of that salary. And then what we're asking for is, as you all aware, Pam Coggill, who we recognize tonight, her position, we are asking that position. It's currently a 29-hour part-time position. We've looked at it for many years trying to get that into a full-time, because currently we only have 2.5 people on the finance side over here to help with all of the finances in the city, and we definitely need the third full-time with this. Those funds are being available, so we're asking to utilize some of those savings to make that a full-time position. Again, the city has grown. You've seen all the grants that we've gotten, which is going to be a lot more responsibility on our finance. As the city continues to grow, our utility building department continues to grow and their responsibilities, and so we need the additional staffing as well. So that's the request, and so if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer any of those.
I have two questions.
Okay.
Does Pam want to be full-time? Okay. And then the second one, just want to make sure. I know you're full-time. And then the second one is, I know we're doing the code enforcement. Who's doing our code enforcement right now? TCG. I was saying, do we have budgeted for TCG to come through, correct, already? Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was still in there.
I do have a question as well. You mentioned that you do not know the final dollar amount of what this would cost to approve these newly created positions, even with some of them being split with EDC. To come back in April with a budget amendment to approve, where are you anticipating getting these funds from? Even if it was the minimum salary for the pay grade given to the positions, where are the funds going to come from?
And that, of course, is explained in the memo, but yes, currently you have a fund. For example, we had the development services manager position, which was an 8. That was split between EDC and development services. That position now, what's going to happen is the funding for that half on the EDC side, EDC has said that they would take on making that a full-time position and taking on the other portion of that. It was going to go from a grade 8 to a grade 7. So there is going to be a little bit of a savings overall for that position, but there is going to be an expense for that. EDC has the funds in their operations that they can oversee that. Same with the marketing communications position. They have funds that they're not utilizing annually that they want to contribute to this to be able to have this marketing communications position funded and help with EDC. And so there's funding available with the EDC. On the development services side, we have the open position for the marketing communications funded at half a year. Of course, we're already, 3 months into this fund, so EDC is only going to be really picking up the 3 months to get us to the 6 months, because the 6 months is paid for, are already funded. And then, as we were talking about we had the development services manager, community services manager, it gets confusing. Community services manager position that was split, so we're going to take that half of that position, and then we're utilizing the code enforcement position, combining those two to create the development services or the development coordinator position. Again, you're combining that 1.5 position to make one, so there's going to be a savings for that. We've tried for a year and a half or 2 years to hire that position. It's just not one that we've been able to get somebody hired. We've had interest, but because we don't have somebody certified in code enforcement, we have to have somebody licensed. We have not received any resumes or applications for those to fill that position. So we've been utilizing a third party for this whole time. They're doing a great job for us, and so we want to continue that. And so we're using that savings to there. So the development services side budget should come in less than what is budgeted. Again, on the finance side, you're going to be, by having utility billing take on a portion of that salary, then there's going to be a savings on the finance side or the city side of that. Even with the increase of the part-time position to full-time, it's not going to take up the full savings, so the funds are available for that as well.
Okay. I think my question, thank you for the explanation, is with the shuffling of all of the names and all of the positions and how they're moving, will the already approved and funded, because some of these are called new positions, will it cover, you don't have a final cost, so is it going to cover by just reallocating names and titles and responsibilities, or are we going to be dipping into the reserves to cover salaries in April?
He should have to, dip into reserves. What he's trying to explain is that in the current budget, we budgeted for the development services manager. We budgeted for a code enforcement. The code enforcement is being reclassed as one of the positions in development. The manager position for development services is also being reclassed. So that money is in the budget, the titles are changing.
Right.
The only increase would be to water and sewer, and then in the amendment, I can go in and amend some of the other line items to allocate towards that, the salaries and benefits for where Danielle is being split, the accounting manager. And then the savings for splitting that accounting manager position will be utilized to make the accounts payable full-time.
Okay.
So the only thing that will require an additional additional expenditures higher than what's in the budget is water and sewer potentially, and I can reallocate that from other lines instead of dipping into the reserve.
Okay, so the intention is not to dip
It's
into the
not-
reserves,
yes,
it's to
yes.
reallocate and
The reserves is
line
only-
items.
Yes, the reserves are only used for one-time expenses. Salaries are not one-time expenses.
Right, exactly,
So-
okay. All right, that was my only question, because.
Okay, thank you.
Do we need to do all these separate, or can we do them all together?
Yeah, you can take them all together.
Make a motion, we approve item 27, A, B, C, and D.
Second. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Buckley. I have a second by Mr. McWaters. All those in favor? Okay, motion carries 5-0. Okay, item number 28, we're going to go ahead. That will also fall under executive session. So what we're going to do now, we will now convene into executive session. The City of Cleveland City Council reserves the right to adjourn into executive session at any time during this meeting to discuss any item on the agenda authorized by Texas Government Codes, Section 551, consultation with attorney, 551072, deliberations about real property, 551073, deliberations about gifts and donations, 551074, personnel matters, 551076, deliberations about security devices, and 551086, about economic development. So we will now convene to executive session. That'll be about,
I would say 15, 25, and 28 under consultation with attorney and real
Yeah.
property.
okay, that'll be what now?
I would just,
Items 15 and 25 will be under consultation
I
with
got it.
attorney. Items 28 will be under real property.
Yeah, okay. I didn't have 15, but that'll be item 25, 28, and 15. And all three of those fall under,
15 and 25 fall under consultation with attorney,
yeah.
and then 28 falls under real property.
Okay. We'll now convene into executive session. It'll be 7:56. Back into open session. It'll be 9:32. Okay,
Mr. Mayor, on item number 15, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the ordinance ordering a general election to be held on May 3rd, 2025, with removing Part D, Council Position 6.
Make a second.
okay. I have a motion by Ms. Hall. I have a second by Mr. Buckley. All those in favor? Okay. Motion carries 5-0. Okay.
Make a motion on item 25A, amending the City of Cleveland Charter for, which one was it? D and E. On D, Proposition D, changing the election from May of 25 to May of 26. And then changing Proposition E for when if Proposition D does pass, the mayor would vote, would be able to vote on all propositions in May of 26 on that ballot.
I second.
Okay, a motion by Mr. Buckley, a second by Ms. Hall. All those in favor? Okay, motion carries.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion on item number 25B to begin the process to explore options for local option election for alcohol provision.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Buckley.
McWaters.
Oh, I'm sorry, by Mr. McWaters. And I have a second by Mr. Buckley. Getting late. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve item number 28.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Buckley, a second by Mr. Ward. All those in favor? Okay, motion carries 4-1.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Let's go home.
I'm gonna leave this, I'm gonna take this.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man.
If I never have to ramble about election stuff, I just, it's like I feel guilty.